Dress rehearsals are over. It's showtime. College basketball is back. We are here at Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where tonight the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers host Alabama State in both of their season openers. I'm Jeff Greer alongside Tim Scarborough, and Tim, college basketball is back.
It's great to be back, and quite frankly, it's great to be within 6 feet of a person that's not in my family. But I tell you what, it's good to have the crowds back. College basketball is going to have one of the most exciting seasons, a lot of good stories, and Western Kentucky is one of the better stories in the country right now.
The music is ramping here at Diddle Arena. They are ready to go, and this is an interesting Western Kentucky team, Tim, as they were not picked first in Conference USA, picked third this season.
Yeah, in the last 4 years, they've been the prohibitive favorite, and they haven't gotten it done in March to get themselves an NCAA tournament. Now they are the hunter, so we'll see how this plays out. But they have a lot of talent. Of course, they lose Charles Bassey to the NBA, playing with the Philadelphia 76ers, a great center, but plenty left in the tank for Coach Rick Stansbury's group.
Alabama State playing 7 games in 13 days, including at Vandy tomorrow night, Tim.
That's life in the SWAC and life in the MEAC, right? You play early, you get those money games, you go on the road, you take your licks, and then you get ready for conference play. But you're right, they turn right around tomorrow in Nashville and try to play.
Get everything all tuned up. College basketball ready to play here in Bowling Green, the famous Diddle Arena, as Western Kentucky wearing their white unis with red and black lettering, and Alabama State wearing the black unis with the old gold lettering. Your referees tonight, Kevin Mathis, James Hicks, and Grant Tyler, as they are ready to play here. The 2021-22 college basketball season is already underway in other parts of the country, Tim, but here tonight they are ready to go.
Some new faces on the floor for Western Kentucky. Jalen Butts, number 1, will be jumping center. But watch out for Jarius Hamilton, number 3, the big-time scorer. And Rick Stansbury has rebuilt this team with transfers from Power 5 teams. He is one of them. He has really terrific talent.
Davion McKnight, Luke Frampton with the ball in his hands. Josh Anderson joining Hamilton and Butts in the starting lineup for Western Kentucky, underway at Diddle Arena. And there he is, Jarius Hamilton, right off the bat, looking for his jumper early. Trace Young, Jordan O'Neal, Gerald Liddell, E.J. Clark, and Kenny Strawbridge in the starting lineup tonight for Mo Williams. Yes, that Mo Williams, as he is in his 2nd season now at the helm for Alabama State, and they get the scoring started through Kenny Strawbridge. You're interested in him tonight?
Yeah, he's a preseason second-team all-SWAC player. Their leading scorer returning. Look for him to try to control this game at the offensive end.
Luke Frampton looking for his jumper early. A foul called on the offensive rebound. That's Josh Anderson, a guy who is preseason All-Conference USA, Tim, and can do a lot of things. Super, super talented athlete. But Rick Stansbury wants him to be more consistent, be a better shooter, but we know what he's capable of.
Yeah, he's an athletic wing that has had some success from the perimeter, but is a little inconsistent now, and I believe his 20th year as a Western Kentucky Hilltopper. But honestly, though, he's a 5th year, what they're calling a super senior, getting that extra bye because of COVID, and as a result, he has a chance to set some records here at Western Kentucky, not the least of which is he'll be the first guy to letter 5 straight seasons.
And he may end up, he should, at least if all the games are played, with the most career games played for Western Kentucky in program history, and it is a rich one here in Bowling Green. Jalen Butts trying to go to work and is fouled right away by Jordan O'Neal.
And at the other end, though, Trace Young, kid from Owensboro, Kentucky, not far from here, started his career at Wyoming, is transferred in. Look for him to try to launch the ball when it is in his hands. He is not shy.
A little bit of a homecoming for Trace Young.
Played at Mount Zion Prep in Baltimore. He's a Power 5 recruit, 12.7 rebounds and 6 turnovers the other night with no assists. So that tells you that he is really looking to score. That was, of course, in a preseason exhibition game.
Davion McKnight, shot 6, and he bangs it. First bucket of the season for Western Kentucky is Davion McKnight.
And I tell you what, McKnight showed why he was recruited heavily. Mr. Basketball 2020, 4 assists a game as a freshman, but of course, he showed that he could put it in the bucket, and now he gets to kind of run the show here in his second season in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Sophomore started 17 games last season. Here's Hamilton, splashdown from Jarius Hamilton.
And Jarius, the transfer from Maryland, had 19 and 14 the other night. And I tell you what, he was 9 for 12 from downtown in exhibition games. So he's picking up where he left off, a terrific shooter. And that's something that's been lacking, quite frankly, from Western Kentucky in the past few seasons.
We talk about Western Kentucky replacing a lot of talent between Bassey, Tavion Hollingsworth,
Scrappy,
Carson Williams, but they've added a bunch of shooters, Tim, as you're mentioning. Hamilton, Frampton is back after a strong season last year. I mean, this is a nice group of shooters around McKnight.
And honestly, Luke Frampton is one of the better shooters in the country when he gets it going. Think about his freshman year at Davidson, number 14 for Western Kentucky in white. He was knocking down 3 threes per game as a freshman, and then played just a few games before transferring in after in his sophomore season. So he didn't quite light it up that way last year, but certainly capable of erupting. Carry there.
An early whistle on Alabama State. One of the things they're trying to do is cut down on turnovers. But they had a tough time last year, Tim. They only played a conference slate, no non-conference, and they started after January 1st.
And last year was a throwaway season, let's be honest, for some programs in particular. They were 4 for 14, 4 and 14, I should say, in Mo Williams' first year. I think they'll do a little bit better this year. They have some transfers of their own. But the thing that, their winning formula, if you will, is going to be playing athletically, getting out in the lanes, trying to get transition buckets, and then volume shooting and hope for the best.
Young with the rebound, gets it ahead. Alabama State with Isaiah Range already on the floor. This is Gerald Liddell, the Texas transfer.
Running a little UCLA high post offense.
Isaiah Range finds his range early. The Tarleton State transfer.
And that was deep, right? And it really wasn't in the flow of the offense, but that's what makes this team kind of a wild card, right? They'll launch from any position. You have to be ready at all times defensively. And now a turnover. This is what I'm talking about. Get down transition.
Early on, Alabama State unafraid of the lively atmosphere here at Western Kentucky.
Jordan O'Neal with that dunk. Juco transfer from a couple of years ago.
It's 7-5 Alabama State into the first media timeout. Back at Tittle Arena here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where Western Kentucky is hosting Alabama State. And the visitors off to a strong start, up 7-5. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough here with you. And Tim, Alabama State, we knew they wanted to get out and run a little bit, and they've been able to do that so far.
Well, it's important for Western Kentucky to take care of the basketball. Ball possession is going to be key because, as you see, the Hornets want to get out and go and get in transition, and they're athletic. They want to play on the rim. Obviously, Western's athletic too, but it's no defense for turnovers when you have 2-on-0 runouts at the other end. A no-no.
No changes after the timeout from either team. As Davion McKnight, the sophomore guard, gets things restarted for Western. Jalen Butts. Frampton for 3.
Transition defense, so important here. Got to stop the ball. And right there, Western was poor in matching up and communicating. And that's something that you'll see early on from various teams because, you're still just kind of feeling your way back into the season. But if you don't get out and try to stop that transition, the Hornets are going to score.
This is range. And Strawbridge trying to take Butts off the dribble.
And defensively, Western is going to have to try to guard dribble penetration. That's the other thing that this team likes to do. They're going to try to attack off the dribble within the flow of the offense. But again, sometimes they'll deviate and just take it one-on-one, so you have to be alert at all times.
And range with the acrobatic finish underneath.
And that's just really another breakdown defensively. But it's tough guarding underneath out of bounds, especially when you play man-to-man, because there's so many options for the players to do. And defensively, if you don't communicate, you can get caught up quickly.
Frampton upended by Gerald Liddell, the Texas transfer for Alabama State. And we were talking about Frampton earlier, Tim.
Yeah.
One of only 2 players in Davidson history to make 100 threes. I think you might know who the other guy was.
Well, let's see. Davidson. I'm going to say Steph Curry.
Yeah, there you go. You're the trivia winner for the evening.
that was an easy one right there, though, right?
Yeah, as McKnight is whistled for the walk.
And obviously that was in my notes, but I did know it before you asked.
Any good note taker has that filed away. I like it.
I get to cover Davidson a little later in the year. Davidson at UNC Charlotte. I guess they call themselves Charlotte now.
Okay. A little A-10 action, at least for Davidson's side, as a timeout there.
A-10 Conference USA. I love it.
Mo Williams is frustrated with his team about that.
Yeah, he is. Animated, the former Cleveland Cavalier guard. Alabama star as well in his second year. You know, it's always interesting the path that guys take into coaching. Usually, it's the point guards, and of course he was a point guard and a shooting guard, kind of a small shooting guard in the NBA. Played in 2 finals and was actually on that 2016 championship team that overcame who? Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. See how we bring it back around?
Yeah, you may have heard the 3-1 deficit that they came back from when he was on the team. He was an all-star in 2009, and he is trying to take a program that has really struggled the last few seasons. Their last winning season was 6 years ago, and they're trying to rebuild with his high school teammate Trey Johnson, who is a SWAC star himself. A good test here in their season opener at Western Kentucky.
I'll tell you what, Isaiah Range from Cedar Hill, Texas, launched another long one. He knocked one down from that same spot earlier, unable to get it going. But for Western Kentucky, they really got to get it going at the offensive end. A very slow start offensively. We talked about number 3, Jarius Hamilton, 6'8" senior transfer. He has knocked down 1 3. They really need to get somebody going here early.
This is Anderson.
Oh.
That's it taken away from him. Michael Barber, and a super athletic swat from Anderson.
Man, was that athletic from both players. And I tell you what, Michael Barber was about to throw down the hammer, but Josh Anderson said, not in my house, not today. You go to the top floor, I got a key pass that gets me to the penthouse.
Showing why he was all defensive team for Conference USA last season.
Yeah, he's a lockdown defender. And there we go.
Ball from Trace Young.
There we go. Owensboro, Kentucky's finest. And, of course, he got out of the state, went to Wyoming out of high school. And here he is, kind of a homecoming, and here comes the pressure again.
Butts! Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Jalen Butts ends a 12-0 Alabama State run.
And maybe that'll get Rick Stansbury group going a little bit here offensively. And that happened because of the scramble defense. And they were able to get an odd man rush. And in fact, at 1-on-0, Butts easy dunk.
And Frampton with the takeaway. Just like that, Tim, couple easy baskets. Momentum switches.
It's amazing what happens when you see that ball go in. It just ignites the crowd. It energizes you on defense. You get out in the passing lane, you get another shot.
That's range again. He is starting off this season with a bang.
A little token pressure now, nothing too serious, but you have to watch for the scramble because they look to run and jump you at times. Right there, that's not a lot of offense, right? McKnight brings it down and just shoots it, no passes.
That's a tough play inside, and the foul whistled on Butts.
Great secondary transition break though, off of the miss, and they got a high percentage shot. Didn't convert, but they'll go to the line for a couple. And this Alabama State team, they may be playing money games, but they're trying to win as well, right?
Playing at Vanderbilt tomorrow night, Tim.
Yeah, I'll be there for that one too as a fan, or maybe as a media member.
Okay.
I can't really say I'm a fan if I'm not paying, right?
3 substitutions coming on for the Hilltoppers. Sherman Brashear, the sophomore from Dallas, checks in along with Noah Stansbury. And of course, the tallest player in all of college basketball Division I this season, Jamarian Sharp.
Which one is he?
He's the 7'5" tree under the basket.
He makes everybody on the floor look short. And it's crazy because the average height out there is probably 6'6".
Let's see what Sharp is capable of. Transferred in from John A. Logan as there's a giveaway.
Coach Stansbury's son, Noah, turns that thing over. A little careless and sloppy in the early going for Western Kentucky, but again, it's the first game of the year. You know, and again, last year was a choppy year for everyone, and that's going to be an offensive foul. It's going to take a little bit of time to get back in the flow.
Foul whistled on Juan Reyna, the freshman who just checked in from San Antonio for Alabama State. But Western Kentucky is a team that has been just on the brink in the Conference USA tournament the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, they've been in the final game. The last 3 final games, in fact, and have come up short, most recently versus North Texas last year down in Frisco.
I have a feeling this is going to happen a few more times this season. Jamarian Sharp edged out and fouled there, earning some attention underneath. It's 17-9, Alabama State headed into the timeout. College basketball wasting no time, heating up here in Bowling Green, where 7'5" big man Jamarian Sharp jostling down there with Michael Barber. Tim, this is college basketball already firing on all cylinders physicality-wise.
Yeah, you know, if you're 6'8" and you're still a foot shorter than the other guy, that's unfamiliar territory.
There he is, Barber.
Oh, get it out.
And swatted away by Sharp and Anderson.
Yeah, who do you give the block to? It's not like football where you can get a half of a sack. I think Sharp got it first, and Anderson with the follow-up.
And Sharp is going to be the one who gets the credit for it. The first of what will be many blocks this season.
He was a junior college player.
An offensive foul underneath.
And the thing I like about Sharp, not overwhelmingly skilled in the offensive end right now, but he runs the floor really well. He'll get a lot of garbage points in terms of cleaning up around the basket. And then, you know, I think you can throw it into him because he's going to take care of the ball for the most part.
Averaged 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 blocks.
He averaged 6 blocks.
Averaged 6 blocks at John A. Logan, premier JUCO program.
I think if I was playing with children, I couldn't average 6 blocks. And that is tough. And he played at the same JUCO that number 0 for the Hornets played.
That's
Trace
right.
Young.
Trace Young.
They were teammates.
Jaden Scrub. There's a 3-ball in the corner from Rage. Was no good.
Oh, I thought I was going to get a touch. And you know, this is the first time you and I work together, but if I touch it, it's going up. Just so you know. I let it fly, baby.
I was going to say, we're not quite sitting on paint here, so it's not a paint touch, Tim. I saw those hands. You were ready.
Oh, I was ready. Of course, we have the protective glass around us, but if it would have got through the glass, I would have shot it.
Luke Frampton.
Stansbury.
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, and Coach Stansbury, he's got to be a little worried at this stage of the game with this team's slow start. And of course, they're a good defensive team, as rich teams usually are, so that keeps you in ball games when you're having trouble scoring. But this thing will have to start turning around offensively, getting some flow. But again, they're still trying to figure things out, it being the first game of the season.
Jamarian Sharp to the free throw line. And Western Kentucky was second in Conference USA in defensive efficiency last season. Obviously, Charles Bassey being in the middle of it was a big factor. And they're hoping that Sharp and Butts and some of those guys who are in the mix down low can help them out there without Bassey, as Sharp is whistled underneath for a foul.
He was a four-star junior college player coming out of John Logan last year, so a lot of teams wanted him. And that's where you get right there, rim protection. He changed that shot, and they came up empty as a result. Give credit to Sharp.
Get our first look at DJ Jackson, the freshman from California for Alabama State.
And I get the feeling McKnight, number 20 with the ball, is going to have to play a lot of minutes. They're just a more steady ball club, and he's on the floor. And right there, a little bit out of control, being aggressive, but he really didn't have anything. It's really hard to drive the ball all the way to the basket against a set defense. He had his man beat for a second, but once he recovers, he's got to be thinking pass, because now there's 5 black shirts around you. You're not going to get that shot off. And he's still a young player, but that's something that he'll have to recognize as he gets a little bit more mature.
4 early turnovers for McKnight, who's a rebound away from a triple-double in their second exhibition.
He flirted with it.
Young for 3.
Nice hand.
Look at the effort there from Sharp.
Beautiful. Stepped out.
And Brashear caught along the sideline there.
And honestly, Sherman didn't look comfortable when he caught that ball. I don't think he was ready for Luke Frampton to pass up an open shot, because Frampton needs to let it fly when he gets it.
Western Kentucky with 9 turnovers and 20 possessions so far.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. They have 4 at the break, at the first break, and that trend has continued. Lob.
Good look inside, and they missed the layup. And that was something that Alabama State struggled with last season, scoring easy buckets. They were 346th, Tim, in the country in 2-point field goal percentage.
So that is not good. And Liddell right there, you got to wonder if he was thinking that the 7'5" center Sharp was lurking.
He always is. Frampton inside. This is Hamilton. Tough finish. The Charlotte native flips it in. He's got 5 early points.
And Hamilton really is capable of taking over the game. Again, 19 and 14 in the exhibition last Monday. 43% from downtown at Maryland last year, so obviously a capable scorer.
Juan Reyna with the lefty finish for his first bucket.
Better decision that time by McKnight. Oh! They're just not Sharp, no pun intended. But I tell you what, Hamilton had his man posted, but if you're Frampton, you just got to kind of lob it into the post. But again, the way the game is played right now, Jeff, there's not a lot of post feeds in college basketball or pro basketball for that matter, so it's not something that they're used to doing.
Alabama State has responded from Western Kentucky's surge to balloon their lead back out to 22-11. 11-point margin.
And they have been disruptive at this end. Again, you talked about the turnovers.
That is just a block underneath. The crowd wanted a foul.
Great slip to the bucket. Great hands by Sharp. Unable to elevate, and great negation at the rim by Young.
Anderson working inside. Missed it, but Sharp comes up with the putback.
And that's what I'm talking about, the garbage buckets. A little cleanup on aisle 33.
Reyna out front. Guarded by Hamilton. Good effort on the offensive glass from Alabama State. Tough finish. Up and under Jordan O'Neal.
That was tough by O'Neal because he was off balance but able to twist his body through the lane and get a sweet kiss off the rim, off the backboard.
And Kemper in the corner. Jarius Hamilton, his second three of the night.
And I tell you what, I love this off-Broadway production of Hamilton. Here we go again. It's showtime. Oh!
He thought about it for a second, just flipped it in. But for a guy who's put up 7 double-digit scoring efforts last season for Maryland, he's got 10 in his first game with Western Kentucky.
And you know, that was more like the understudy right there. That wasn't Lin-Manuel Miranda. Miranda would dunk that.
Here comes Anderson, showtime possibility. And a foul there. No, it was deemed off of Anderson.
Turnover. Double digits.
It has been back and forth so far at Diddle Arena, but Alabama State up 6 early on their hosts. Western Kentucky trailed by 11 just seconds ago. They're back within 6, but Alabama State out front 24-18. Just under 7 minutes here at Diddle Arena. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you. Pleased to be welcoming back the college basketball season as hoops tip off across the country. Got some gigantic matchups all across the board, but this is a Western Kentucky team, Tim. They've got a tough schedule as usual, and they're obviously trying to fill some voids. But as you might expect, a little bit shaky on offense in the early stages.
I didn't expect it to be this shaky, if I'm being honest. And the most shaky part is Davion McKnight with 5 turnovers. And he's the guy that's going to be their primary ball handler, number 20 in white. And he has not handled the ball very well in the early going. And as a result, the team has suffered.
Trace Young for 3, and he bags it. His second of the night.
One of those wild card shots I was talking about. And of course, I don't think Young's made a pass today except by accident when he lost the ball to his teammate. He is looking to score, and he can do it.
Sat out last season, and he's off to a strong start tonight with 8 points. This is Butts.
Oh, smoked it.
A frenetic pace here at Diddle. Young again, and he's cooking.
And that is where what you don't want to see if you're Coach Rich Stansbury, because this kid is capable of lighting it up. Now, he can shoot you out of a game, but boy, when he gets it going, he's knocked down 2 in a row from downtown. Look out, Western Kentucky.
Alabama State 4 of 9 from 3 in the early stages of this one. Here's Hamilton's response.
That right there was a breakdown by Josh Anderson. He's the guy that's the closest to the basket, and he didn't hustle back to get his feet in the paint. And Young takes advantage. 8 straight.
It's a 7-0 run here. Alabama State leading Western Kentucky. And Tim, they have not looked at all like a team that was out of sync or anything like that after last season.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this is a little bit, okay, it's a lot surprising. If it would have been 31-18 or 32-18 the other way, I wouldn't be surprised at all. because they're the home team. Again, they're a team that's won or has been predicted to win Conference USA the last 4 years, have been in the last 3 championships, and the one they weren't in is because they didn't have a championship when they canceled Conference USA tournament in 2020. So there's a lot of expectations from the people wearing red around here. Right now, they're being let down by this group, but there's still a lot of time and they're capable of turning this thing around. But it starts with taking care of the basketball and keeping them out of transition.
This is McKnight trying to get going into the lane, and that is as tough a finish as you're going to see.
Yeah, that was tough because, again, drawing a crowd, but you see how he's built. Strong, low to the ground, gets all the way to the rim. A great job by Davion McKnight.
Alabama State did not shoot it particularly well last season.
Nice hands.
Good steal there. Here comes Anderson! Oh my goodness! Josh Anderson on the head.
And if that doesn't get you going, if that doesn't get your blood flowing, then you're not human. Josh Anderson says, get on my IG right now. Smile for the camera. My goodness. Woo! We told you he was electric. We told you don't give him a step to the basket. They did not listen.
Wow. That was a jaw dropper from Anderson. And he gets the free throw to finish off the three-point play. There is life in Diddle Arena.
Alabama State, a little rattled after that. They are the Hornets, but this place is buzzing. Thanks to Josh Anderson's electrifying high wire act.
Let's see if the Toppers can take advantage of the momentum. Foul out front on O'Neal. And that's his second, which is key for Alabama State. They talked about him, Tim, as a potential SWAC Defensive Player of the Year contender in their league. Get him in early foul trouble, problematic for the Hornets.
Yeah, that is not something that Coach Mo Williams wants to see. His team is off to a really good start on the road, first game of the year. Again, we talked about not even playing any non-conference games last year, so this is his first game that he's ever coached, non-conference when you think about it, right? His second season as a head coach. So foreign territory, but his team has really come to battle here so far as McKnight misses a pair from the line.
Western picking up full court, and Alabama State cutting right through it.
And it's amazing, because he missed that second one, Western didn't seem to be ready for the press attack. But, of course, the boys in black up to the task, and now they're up 11 on the road here at Diddle Arena. Now a 2-3 zone being deployed. Coach Williams mixing it up.
Hamilton in the middle of it draws the foul. And he'll shoot free throws when we come back. Western Kentucky and Alabama State doing battle in Bowling Green, but Alabama State out front by 11. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Western Kentucky and Alabama State in an up-tempo affair in Bowling Green. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you tonight. And Tim, we're getting a treat here in this first half of some highlights, a couple momentum shifts.
Yeah, Josh Anderson, number 4, with what we like to call a Hawaiian punch. Bang that one right on the head of Trace Young. But Trace Young has really kind of controlled this game. Number 0 in black, 6 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from downtown, 15 points in 16 minutes of play, making his kind of a homecoming again from Owensboro, Kentucky, up the road. And he is playing as if his life depended on it right now, having fun.
And I'm pretty sure on the lines here for this free throw, Anderson and Young exchanging maybe their Thanksgiving plans after that one.
And there's not a lot of players in the country that would have made that dunk because Young was on it. I mean, and at 6'8", 6'9", and a good leaper, he was there. But unfortunately, it just put him on a bigger poster, right? This is wall size.
And there's Anderson again coming up with a big play, using that athleticism.
But a great job by the Hornets. Normally when you get a deflection like that, you get a run out, but the Hornets were able to get back in transition.
McKnight with the putback. E.J. Clark on the ball for Alabama State. Trying to work on Frampton, but he's got to find the hot hand. It's Young.
Well, you got to know he's shooting that, right? I mean, Jarris Hamilton, his hands were down. I would have been jumping the second he caught that ball. You knew he was going to let it fly.
Butts trying to go to work inside.
Good defense.
And he's stuck with it. Second bucket of the night.
And Butts got things started off, but he's been quiet ever since. And Coach Mo Williams is literally on the floor cheering on his guard, Clark, telling him what play he wants to run.
Reyna off the back iron and a big board from Anderson.
And Reyna a little quick with that one. And I know the freshman hit one earlier.
Frampton, the triple.
Man, ice cold. Luke Frampton now 0 for 4 from downtown.
Final 2 minutes of this first half. It's been an entertaining one. Clark looking for Young again. He'll pull it from anywhere.
Wow, that was deep. And I thought they were trying to get number 10, Michael Barbaro, on the post.
And McKnight had it knocked away, but the Tops will keep it.
And McKnight is not the quickest guard, but he's a power guard. You know what I mean? Like he power dribbles his way to the basket. And sometimes that serves him well, but sometimes he over-penetrates and it gets him in trouble because he's not very tall.
This is Butts again, trying to get around Barber and draws the foul. Tim, that was something that Rick Stansbury talked about after the exhibitions, that Western, you lose a guy like Charles Bassey, you lose a guy like Hollingsworth getting to the rim, drawing a lot of fouls. They shot a lot of free throws last season, and he was worried that this team might not be as assertive to get to the free throw line, but they're doing a decent job here tonight so far.
And that's a Rick Stansbury trait, though, right? They make more free throws than their opponents take over the years. And so, for example, in 19 seasons, Stansbury's teams have shot 3,000 more total free throws than their opponents. So that's something that he really kind of wants his team's characteristic to be. And this team so far, in the preseason anyway, didn't get there as often as he would have liked. But tonight, they're getting there at a pretty good clip.
They're just not falling yet for him. 3 of 10 thus far tonight for the team that last season led the Conference USA ranks in free throws attempts per field goal attempts. This is range.
Oh,
and he gives it away.
Wrong team. He threw that to Hamilton like that was his teammate.
Hamilton to Butts.
And there was just a lack of communication from the Hornets. 3 guys ran at the ball and nobody covered their basket. And all of a sudden, we got a 3-point game as we approach halftime.
It's an 8-0 Western Kentucky run, 13-2 over the last 4 minutes. As Young, that's a tough shot, and he hit it.
You called it, Jeff. That was a tough shot, and he just knocked it down. But that, again, that's what you're going to get with Trace Young. He's going to put it up, even under duress. And sometimes he's going to hit those. You just have to pat him on the back and say, good shot.
And foul off the ball. He's going to go on DJ Jackson.
No, I think they call it offensive foul. That's on Hamilton.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. I didn't see what he did there, but there's no complaints. Hamilton just kind of walked away.
The Alabama State team for a second there looked a little confused, but they'll get another bite at the apple here. 15 seconds on the clock, up 5 on the road.
And
You got to think they're looking for Young.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Jackson all the way to the 10. And Anderson says no sir again.
Josh looked at him as if to say, have you not read your scouting report? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Josh.
2 blocks and 2 steals and a monster dunk with 4.1 seconds left. Alabama State with a chance to get something quick here, Tim, but they've got to be feeling pretty good going into halftime. I know Western's making a little bit of a surge, but to be up 5 here against a really good team at home is big.
You have to be feeling good about that performance. But it's kind of like good news, bad news. The good news is you played well in the first half. The bad news is you have to kind of replicate that. And I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can expect Western to turn it over 11 times in the second half as they did in the first. So it's going to be interesting. They've kind of woken the beast here as the crowd is starting to get into the game. Western has been a little bit tougher on defense with the exception of Trace Young. He's been able to knock down some tough shots, but they've made him take tough shots, and that's what you want, right? He's not going to keep hitting those. So the game has kind of turned back in Western's favor with plenty of time to go.
They forced 10 turnovers themselves, and they're Sharp coming in and erasing the shot from Jamie Mitchell.
Another ill-advised attempt, though, right? A 7'5" guy running at you. Pump fake, get him off the ground and go around him.
1.7 on the clock.
See if they can get a good one.
Range. Missed it. Well, Alabama State gave Western a big punch here in the first half, but Western right back in striking distance here, down 5.
You're right, they didn't knock him out. And if you take a swipe at the champ, you best not miss, right? They missed, so now Western's going to come out with a lot of energy in the second half. Look for them to try to take control of this game.
Western Kentucky down 5 on Alabama State in the home opener for them, the season opener for both here in Bowling Green. Plenty more at halftime. Back here at halftime at Diddle Arena, Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you. Alabama State took a 14-point lead earlier in the first half, but it's just down to 5, Tim, at the halftime break. Western Kentucky struggled with turnovers, but they've made up for it late.
That's right. That's really the story, right? Because they turned it over 12 times in the first half. That's a game's worth, and it led to runouts at the other end. And as a result, a 14-point deficit. That's careless basketball right there, running out there to get a dunk, Michael Barber. But then at the other end, Western ended up forcing 10 turnovers of their own, and they got out in transition, but none better than right there. Josh Anderson able to punch on the top of Trace Young's head to get this crowd going. And once the crowd got back into it, a little bit more flow offensively for Rick Stansberry's group. And as a result, they got themselves within 3 after trailing by 14. They have a whole nother half to play. If they take care of the ball, they can survive a very solid team that has come in here from Alabama.
Alabama State coming in here. They did not play non-conference basketball last season, but unfazed by the road atmosphere in a lively Diddle Arena that did start livening up a little bit here towards the end of that half.
Yeah, thanks to Josh Anderson. But I tell you what, we have a whole nother half to play. If Western can take care of the basketball, and that's a big if because this group right here is getting out in the passing lanes. Davian McKnight had 5 turnovers, and he's the primary ball handler. They'll have to do a better job of not over-penetrating, but if they can play a little bit more under control, I expect the Hilltoppers to come out, survive this scare, but most importantly, win the game.
And that's how they want to start. They want to start off on the good foot, of course, at home at Diddle Arena before they go off and play Minnesota later this week. It is the start of college basketball across the country. The atmosphere is electric, Tim, and I gotta say, it just feels good to be in a gym again. I know we keep talking about it, but it feels great with fans here.
You can't underscore it enough, right? And Diddle Arena is one of the most special places to play in Conference USA. and expect it to be every bit of the home court advantage it's been. And they'll need this crowd today to survive this game. It's going to be a good second half.
Down 5 at the break against Alabama State. We got a fun one here in Bowling Green. Just about ready for the second half back here at Western Kentucky. WKU trailing Alabama State at Diddle Arena 36-31 through the first 20 minutes. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough here with you. And Tim, second half, what are you looking for from both of these teams?
Well, if you're Rick Stansberry, I know he talked about the turnovers in the locker room, but you just can't say, I don't want you to turn it over. You have to try to put them in position to not turn it over, right? So if you're Rick, you're going to talk to Davion McKnight about not over-penetrating, but then when he does penetrate, try to locate shooters on the perimeters and then knock down some shots, and the more drives will start opening. And then if you're Coach Mo Williams, you want to say, let's continue the same energy we played with in the first half, because we got out in transition, we got easy buckets, we were disruptive. If we can do that in the second half, we might be able to get a check and a win. That's a double-double right there, right?
That's a big double whammy in college basketball. Trace Young, number 0 there on your screen, 17 points in the first half. The Kentucky native returning home, 7 of 12 from the field. Western Kentucky's had some big scoring from Jarius Hamilton, who has 11 points of his own, a couple of threes, and he's had some help from Jalen Butts, who's got 7 points and 4 boards. This is Kentucky, this is basketball country, and this is an expectant fan base here at Diddle Arena, expecting their team to turn on the Jets here in the second half. We'll see how that all plays out. 20 minutes left, and Alabama State will start with the ball. The only change from the starting lineup is Isaiah Range out here on the floor for Alabama State. And right off the bat, a turnover, Tim.
I like what they were trying to do, but it wasn't there. Western was ready for it, but that's a great set that a lot of teams run, throwing in the high post to get the little Princeton backdoor action, but Western was ready for it. So you don't throw the pass, right? You let the play out.
Mo Williams frustrated from that turnover.
Now turnover number 11 for them.
Frampton trying to rise through 2 defenders. He has yet to get going tonight. And back-to-back turnovers from the Hornets.
So both teams now with an even dozen. A little sloppy, but again, first game of the year, you expect it. Because there hasn't been a lot of defensive pressure in terms of full-court pressing and things like that you would think the turnovers would result in that. It's been really kind of sloppy play and poor decisions at times.
Jarius Hamilton missing his first shot of the second half. Both of these teams comfortably won their exhibitions. Alabama State beating Mobile down in Alabama, obviously, and University of Cumberland's, there's a 3-shot there, falls for Liddell, but the University of the Cumberlands and Campbellsville, Rick Stansbury's alma mater, came to Western and were both roundly defeated, but this is a whole different ball game, and it counts in the record books.
Oh, offensive, yep. And Butts had him. He had what he wanted. He got the size advantage. They got Jordan O'Neal stuck in the post, but once Butts lowers his shoulder and drills him, that's an easy call for the officials. Butts doesn't like it, but I think it's the right call.
2 fouls on Jalen Butts. And a chance to push this lead back out to double digits for Alabama State.
So the last few years, at least in my broadcasting career, I don't think I've done a game there hasn't been at least one guy named Jalen on the floor. So that continues tonight.
Keeping the streak going. And a foul out front on Liddell. And speaking of streaks, Tim, Western Kentucky making 2 threes in that first half has now expanded its streak to 1,070 games.
How about that?
Consecutive with a 3-pointer, the 4th longest streak in college basketball running.
There's been a couple of times recently where that streak was in jeopardy, right? Late into the games. not the greatest three-point shooting group in the last few years. And again, Hamilton has shown he can stroke it. Number 14, Frampton, has been ice cold, but he's traditionally one of the better shooters in the nation. So if he gets it going, maybe Western has a chance to knock it down a few this year from downtown.
2 fouls on Hamilton off the offensive foul.
That's turnover number 14 for Western.
Right back, here comes McKnight. Hamilton for 3. Yes, sir.
And that looked like a splashdown the second it left his hands. Cash money from 3 for Hamilton.
He's got 3 threes for the home team and a tough finish from Kenny Strawbridge.
In traffic, Strawbridge, preseason all-conference player, very quiet in the first half. That's just his second bucket. He's 2 for 2 in 11 minutes. Had a little foul trouble, got 2 early ones.
It's a tough finish and almost an equally tough putback from Hamilton. Range finding Young underneath.
Trace Young has been nothing short of impressive now. That's 19 points on 8 of 13 from the field, 3 of 7 from downtown. And Luke still can't find the mark. Oh. I'm gonna call a foul there. It could have been a travel, could have gone either way. But they're gonna say Luke Frampton was in not in a legal guarding position. See if we can see it on the replay. Frampton went for the steal and kind of got caught in no man's land.
Range bags a 3, his second of the night. And it's a 12-point lead for Alabama State.
Range that time, the second time from downtown, able to knock it down. And it's Alabama State who has come out of the locker room with a sense of urgency.
Tough shot from Jarius Hamilton.
Hamilton, this kid is going to be exciting to watch. I mean, I'm talking first-team all-conference level exciting. He is terrific.
Former 4-star recruit. Started his college career at BC as a tough finish from Strawbridge. And he's gotten going here early in this second half. Trading buckets, McKnight.
When you look at this group, and now a turnover here.
And Western Kentucky summoning the hustle. Gets the ball back, but they're down 10 in the early stages of the second half. Alabama out front. Alabama State in Bowling Green. Back here in Bowling Green, Western Kentucky trailing Alabama State 48-38, 15:39 left on the clock. And Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you. And Western, they may be down, but it's not without hustle and effort here.
Right there, that loose ball, they're going to say Range touched it last. So Western gets the steal on that play. Another turnover.
Butts flips it up and in. He's got 9. And something, Tim, that I think we need to talk about here is the absence of Keith Williams, who is awaiting NCAA eligibility ruling. They say it'll be very soon. And then Zion Harmon also out currently for personal reasons, but they're hoping that they can get those guys back, and I would think that would really help their offense.
It certainly will, particularly Williams, transfer from Cincinnati, a 5th-year senior, a proven scorer. You get another guy out there that the defense has to kind of focus on. That really helps a lot.
As Anderson takes a big fall there, but appears to be okay. This thing is picking up. Here he comes again.
Oh.
And an acrobatic finish.
Terrific. And the level of turnovers, though, 16 now for Alabama State and 14 for Western. This is turned into kind of a junior high, middle school game, right, with all the turnovers.
Strawbridge was wide open underneath.
Looked like he traveled. maybe he kept that pivot foot anchored in. The crowd thought he traveled.
And Jamarian Sharp will check back in, the 7'5" center for the Tops.
And you know, the landscape of college basketball, Jeff, with the transfer portal and being able to come right in and play now, when you look at what Coach Stansbury bringing in a lot of new players, but he's got transfers. Darius Miles, junior college, Jalen Butts, DePaul, Keith Williams, Cincinnati, Jarris Hamilton, Maryland, Luke Frampton, Davidson from a year ago, right? Brashear, junior college, Sharp, junior college. So you might have brought in new faces, but these guys are proven commodities.
And the eligibility ruling has made college basketball a much more fertile territory for those transfers.
Well, it's given the players control. So the landscape has really changed in two areas when you think about the ability to trade on your own image now and being able to collect money off of your likeness. So, I mean, that is huge. I would have loved that 30 years ago, right? And I'll tell you what, another developing story here has been the lack of ability to knock down a free throw for Western.
Now 3 of 12 as a team here tonight.
That is not going to get it done.
For a team down 8, those 9 points have added up. Make that 10 as Jordan O'Neal splashes a jumper. He's got 6.
He was wide open. Again, that was a breakdown in defense right there. You had 2 guys on the ball and nobody even trying to recover to get out to O'Neal on the perimeter, who was able to knock it down.
And the foul is going to be on Strawbridge. And that's his 3rd. And every time the Tops have had a little bit of a surge, it seems like Alabama State has been able to just do enough to get back to a little bit more of a comfortable lead. As McKnight couldn't buy a jumper there.
This crowd is dead silent right now, too. Yet another turnover for the Hornets. And despite that, though, they lead by 10 on the road. So it's kind of a good news, bad news scenario for Coach Mo Williams in his 2nd year. Again, former Cleveland Cavalier standout.
15 possessions here in the second half so far, Tim, for Alabama State. 7 scores, 7 turnovers.
That's going to be on Sharp. And Hamilton tried to guide that 3-point shot in right there. He didn't let it fly.
He's still the only one on the team with a 3 tonight. But Mo Williams and his coaching staff taking full advantage of this teaching moment for their team.
This is quite a development. When you think about, this is kind of a game where Western was hoping to have a tune-up for their tougher part of their schedule coming up later this week. They are in a battle here.
Frampton didn't like that foul call. That'll be his 2nd. And you talk about that schedule for Western Kentucky. Let's get another look there of the Frampton foul coming across the body on Reyna.
He definitely got him. He definitely got him. And now Reyna, the freshman, will go shoot a couple.
Western Kentucky, they're playing Minnesota on Friday and either South Carolina or Princeton on the 14th. And then they're at Memphis. They've got Buffalo, they've got Ole Miss, and they've got Louisville all lined up before the turn of the new year.
And Louisville is coming here to Bowling Green, so that should be an interesting matchup. I would love to be here for that.
Circle that on the calendar as Anderson gets 3 tries and he couldn't get it to fall.
Got it wedged between the basket and the backboard. Have you ever done that, Jeff, on a shot? I've done that in a game, in a high school game.
I've done it on a 3-pointer, but I can't say trying to tip in a shot at the rim like that, probably on a Tyco hoop, Tim. Sharp. Anderson looking from 3. Good effort on the offensive glass, and Sharp misses the first putback. And he looks like he hurt his neck there.
Yeah, he gave himself whiplash, right? He rim checked himself trying to hammer it down. See if we can see it here. Great job of getting to the offensive glass, and he tries to hammer it down. Couldn't convert, gets it back, gets fouled. There he goes to the neck. Still holding that neck. And they're going to say it was a non-shooting foul. He got fouled not going back up. So Western will retain possession, however.
And Rick Stansbury is all the way along the baseline having a conversation with the official about it.
And you know, I thought he should have had 2 free throws as well. So it's interesting that it's just all about when they call the foul, though.
McKnight for 3, and it's a big one for Western Kentucky. His first of the night, and that's a big step forward for him. He only made 4 threes all last season.
Yeah, I expect that number to go up this year in his sophomore year.
Strawbridge couldn't get it to go. Hamilton.
Oh, he called travel.
Thought he might have been able to buy a foul there. And instead he'll give the ball back to Alabama State. The Hornets still in front by 9, 11:36 to go here at Western Kentucky. Alabama State led by Mo Williams, up 9 here with 11:36 to play in this one. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you. Tim, last season Alabama State really struggled offensively, 38% field goal percentage last season, but tonight 22 of 41.
Yeah, 54% from the field. Now they have turned it over 17 times, but when they've gotten shots, the ball has been falling for them. And again, I think the difference is the fact that Trace Young is in the lineup. He sat out last year. But he's a real scorer. He's a guy that can go get his own shot at will at 6'8". Can play in the perimeter and play in the post as well. Now, Western has deployed their 1-3-1 defensively here.
Arena in the corner trying to beat the zone. And Sharp comes down with it. That is tough from McKnight. And Trace Young up to 6 rebounds with his 19 points.
Sharp's got 6 rebounds as well.
Strawbridge. And they're going to call that goaltending right? Yep. On Jamarian Sharp. And a bucket for Strawbridge, who has asserted himself here in the second half.
Yeah, and the reason that's goaltending, because once the ball hits the backboard, you can't touch it.
That's got to be hard for a guy of Sharp's stature.
Yeah, really. He's a capable shot blocker. Part of shot blocking for him, obviously, is the long arms and the height. It's Luke Frampton can't buy one, but Josh Hamilton, luckily, is his friend.
Josh Anderson with 7 points. All 3 of his buckets have been highlight reel finishes. It's a 9-point game, just past 10 minutes.
Frampton now 0 for 6 from downtown. He is literally out there talking to himself right now.
Just said, "Oh my God, man," to himself.
And that's foreign territory for him. You know, we talked about how efficient he has been in his college career. This just has been his night so far.
Shot 41% last season from distance, 51 threes. As a primary bench contributor for the Tops.
And Alabama State has hit 3 free throws on the night, but they're 3 for 5. Western has hit 3 free throws tonight as well, but they're 3 for 12.
And that is a big, big shot from Sherman Brashear. Signed in late July and already coming up big for the Tops.
Just a 6-point game now with still over 9 minutes to play.
Young with the heat check, no good.
The energy starting to get back in the building. And if you're smart, you got to throw that ball into Sharp here, right?
Hamilton is in some pain underneath the basket. I think he's cramping.
Let's hope that's what it is.
As the whole crowd immediately worried about their star player. 16 points tonight for Jarius Hamilton. And kudos to the training staff for being alert to come over and stretch him.
John Irwin, associate athletic trainer, comes in. He's been here for a while. Understands what he's doing, of course. It's amazing the sports science, though, isn't it? I think back to at least when I played, there's so many things that they do now to prepare you so you don't get cramps within a game. But right there, he's trying to wave off the sub, but I believe he has to go out of the game since they stopped the game. And coach and the official, Kevin Mathis, is letting him know that he's got to at least sit out of play. And honestly, he's still limping. I don't know why he wants to play.
He's trying to tough it out over there, and Stansbury is trying to talk it through with the referees, though.
So he can use the timeout and keep him on the floor. And I think that's what they're going to do. They
don't want Jarius Hamilton to be on the bench at any point.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be a 30-second. And now it's going to a full. Yep.
Well, it's a 6-point game. Alabama State in front of Western Kentucky here in Bowling Green. Back here on ESPN Plus, Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you. And Alabama State still in front here, Tim, with 9:11 to go, but this is a danger zone as Western Kentucky will have free throws out of the timeout and a chance to get it back to a 4-point deficit.
It's 9:11 to go, but no need to call 911 just yet. Still plenty of time for the Hilltoppers. They've chipped away just there. They've only made 3 of their 12 free throw attempts, however. That's been a struggle. Hamilton able to knock down that first one. And again, before the timeout, the reason the Hilltoppers called a timeout so Hamilton could stay in the game. He got a cramp and they had to stop the game. And the only way he could stay in was for them to call timeout. Now it's paying dividends as he knocked down both free throws.
The Charlotte native still walking a little gingerly, and they'll get another look at him as Frampton comes back in for him. So
that's a true scorer's mentality, right?
Oh yeah, gotta get your free throws.
He's still hurting. He needs to recover.
Inside on the zone, and Western Kentucky gets the turnover.
18 now.
Anderson met at the rim. That was Jordan O'Neal who went up there and got it.
My goodness. The athleticism on display here today. These guys are playing, both teams, playing above the rim.
It's Young, O'Neal, Liddell, Strawbridge, and Range on the floor for Alabama State. Anderson, Brashear, Frampton, McKnight, and Sharp for Western. Sharp gets a second try at it and got it.
And they've gotten away with 6'7" Jordan O'Neal guarding them. They finally made him pay.
Sharp's got 4 points and 8 rebounds, but just like that, a 3-ball from Gerald Liddell, and that lead is back out to 5.
And he had to shoot that pretty high to get it over the outstretched hands of Sharp.
Good find from McKnight, and a 3-ball again, this time Brashear.
Brashear, 3-ball corner pocket. His second knockdown from that position.
And Brashear with a little bit of a stare down there on Trace Young. And we'll go to break here. It is heating up. Alabama State up 2 on Western Kentucky here in Bowling Green. Well, Alabama State up 2 here on Western Kentucky with a chance to add to the lead for Mo Williams' club. And it's Trace Young who will be on the free throw line. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough with you here. And Tim, Trace Young, 17 points in that first half, but just 2 shot attempts here in the second half. Chance to add to that total here, but 19 points for the game.
Yeah, he's been quiet in the second half, but he's a guy that's going to carry the scoring load for the Hornets throughout the year. They got a lot out of him in the first half. Here he is shooting up in front end of a 1-and-1, knocks it down. But again, the transfer started his career at Wyoming, played for former Kentucky star Allen Edwards back then. And in fact, I called his second game of his career, and I believe he had like 16 points in that game. And it was kind of a breakout performance for him before he ended up getting injured. In fact, this whole team had a rash of injuries that year. It was kind of an odd year for them out in the Mountain West. But now here he is at Alabama State playing in his home state of Kentucky and doing a great job.
With 21 here in the season opener, as Western trying to get back into this one, has done a good job of keeping it close without ballooning, but they have yet to retake the lead as McKnight has his shot blocked away.
Again, impressive leaping by Jordan O'Neal, 6'7", patrolling the paint now. Second block in the last 4 possessions.
Western Kentucky has not led since the 17:53 mark of the first half when it was 5-2.
Good looking lefty hook, doesn't go, but he looked comfortable shooting. And you know, when you're a big guy like that, everyone expects you to make every shot, right? He's not going to make it, but you can tell he's got some offensive abilities. And give Rick Stansbury credit for running the play to get him a shot there. Wow, another turnover.
Gerald Liddell losing the ball out of bounds there.
19th turnover now. Liddell really kind of another unforced error. There was some resistance there, but he just lost that off of his leg. Sloppy ball handling.
Alabama State's lead is 4, 7 minutes and change here at Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky trying to start their season with a win at home. And Alabama State trying to unsettle the homestanding Hilltoppers. Frampton.
Oh, blocked.
Had it blocked. That was range, but good recovery from Frampton to get the ball back for his team.
Turnover number 20, trying to get a layup. Frampton, great hustle, but the story on Frampton now, 0 for 7 from downtown. I mean, his first name is Luke, right? Maybe he needs to use the force. He's running out of answers.
Here comes McKnight, trying to make things happen underneath.
There you go.
Anderson for 3.
They got a high percentage shot, though. That's a different story when Davion McKnight was going in there in the first half. He was looking to score.
Offensive rebound for Alabama State. Just the 6th of the night for the Hornets, but it was a big one. 10 on the shot. Trace Young. Now Strawbridge for 3. And
great hustle.
Almost was able to track it down, and then McKnight gets the steal.
Whoa, what a collision at midcourt there.
Butts on the putback is good. And that's a big one for Western Kentucky.
The energy level on that possession defensively was impressive, and it leads to this. A miss on the rim, but a great putback by Butts, and able to capitalize, get himself to the free throw line as well.
Jalen Butts, 11 points, 5 rebounds tonight. And That foul was on Gerald Liddell, who was fouled out. He finished with 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Texas transfer as Butts gets his team within a point. Strap in, we've got a good one here in Kentucky. Alabama State 61, Western Kentucky 60, 5:40 on the clock. Range. Missed it. Here comes Brashear.
Step out. Got a little overzealous with the basketball. Turned it over there. But they had an opportunity to take the lead. And that's what I love about this crowd here at Bowling Green. They understand the moment. And again, they're still up and cheering, knowing how key this possession is for their team.
This has been the 2 top guys tonight. Young over Hamilton. Missed it. And Strawbridge comes down with it. But he missed the putback jumper.
A lot of long rebounds the last couple of possessions there for the Hornets.
Anderson goes to work on range. He had Hamilton for a second, and a foul out on the perimeter.
Western does not make it easy, do they? This has been quite a game. A chance to take the lead once again. Hamilton fouled on the perimeter, but they're now in the bonus, so he has a chance to take the lead with the clock stopped. A couple of free ones.
Just 6 of 15 so far from the free throw line tonight, Western Kentucky, but Hamilton now 4 of 5, and he ties this game.
And actually, that's a 1-and-1, so he needed to make that shot to get the second. Just the 17th foul on Alabama State. Missed the second one.
For the first time since 5-5, with 16:23 to go in that first half, this ball game is tied. 4.5 minutes to go. Young, double team.
Wise, triple team. Doesn't matter. Big time. Trace Young.
23 points for Trace Young in the homecoming. Gives his team the lead back. McKnight trying to back down range. Spins off of him. And a tough finish. Davion McKnight. He is having himself a good night. He got off to a slow start with the turnovers, but 13 points, 6 assists, 3 boards.
And he gets away with a little bit of a hook, the James Worthy style, with that arm out, but he didn't extend it, so he got away with it. A great job of scoring in the paint, and again, a chance to take the lead. And this time they finally do.
First lead since 17:53 in the first half, when it was 5-2 Western Kentucky. Final 4 minutes, and the crowd is alive here at Diddle Arena. Go get some popcorn now, because you're going to want to eat it. The final 4 minutes of this one. Western Kentucky and Alabama State locked in a thriller here to start your college basketball season. Final 3:51 here at Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky has finally taken back the lead, 64-63 on the visiting Alabama State. Jeff Greer, Tim Scarborough here guiding you through this game. And Tim, it has been back and forth. It's been a lot of effort for Western to get back into it, but they have started to get some momentum late.
And as a broadcaster and a fan of the game, I love the drama. If you're a Western Kentucky fan, you just hope they survive after all of this. They have not made it easy.
Right out of the timeout, Josh Anderson, a Conference USA All-Defensive Squad member from last season, wins the offensive foul.
22 turnovers. You almost say if you can win on the road with that many turnovers, you have pulled off a miracle.
Hamilton thought about it. And Western wants to eat up some clock here and set up the offense. McKnight. Almost lost it.
Saved him.
5 on the shot. Anderson tries to get one off at the buzzer. And a diving effort from Jarius Hamilton. Couldn't get it back for Western. 3:16 to go, and it'll be Alabama State ball.
Yeah, and we know Josh Anderson's strength, and it's not getting a high percentage shot late in the possession. That was a tough position for him to be in. But he did get a shot off, and as a result, they lead by 1, but it's a tenuous lead here. Need a stop if you're Western Kentucky. Still plenty of possessions in this game, however.
Young, for a second, he thought he had O'Neal, but O'Neal didn't realize he was looking at him. Anderson with the floater. A big one from Josh Anderson.
That's much more of a Josh Anderson shot right there. Going off the dribble, using his athleticism, and throwing down a 6-foot jump shot. And a big moment for the 50th senior.
For Anderson, 2:30 to go, they're up 3. Young. O'Neal finds range. Just couldn't get it down.
He barely beat the shot clock as well. I'm sure he knew it. And that, as a result, he rushed it just a little bit, and it spun out on him. So now, it's just tougher to score a late game against Western Kentucky. They make it tough on you down the stretch, and we've seen that the last few possessions now.
Frampton finally getting one to fall.
Inside the arc, but I'm sure he's happy to make a shot, and couldn't have come at a better moment for him and this team.
A 7-0 run for Western has him up 5.
Woo.
Another collision. McKnight.
Man. This is Monday Night Raw. WWE. Bodies flying, chairs flying. This is turned into a physical game here down the stretch.
Well, we told you to get some popcorn before we went to break.
He got fouled a couple times on the way to the basket by Range. But nonetheless, Davion McKnight will go to the line to shoot a couple. But it starts with Luke Frampton's hustle at the other end. He paid the price, got hit by 2 other players, but he got McKnight the ball and a run out.
He's done that a couple of times tonight, Frampton, where he's been in the mix on those 50-50s.
He's not shy. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there where perhaps it doesn't belong at times.
They got a full timeout on the floor as Alabama State is going to take a break here to see if they can recalibrate. Down 6 to Western Kentucky with exactly 90 seconds to go. Tim, in this situation, what are you talking about?
Well, if you're Western, you're thinking about shortening the game. Right now you're up 2 possessions, and you got free throws coming, so you can have a chance to come up 3 possessions. If you make these free throws, you're up 8. Now it's just a matter of making them take a shot late in the shot clock, and they've done that the last several possessions. And if you're Alabama State, you're going to try to get something quick, something high percentage, but something quick, because you need more possessions now. The clock is your enemy with a minute and 30 down by that much. And what a turn of events, right? It looked like Western was going to give up the ghost at one point, but they stuck to it. They have really put a lot of pressure on. They forced 23 turnovers now. Some of that is sloppy ball handling, but you have to credit the defense as well of Western Kentucky. And they've gotten loose balls down the stretch, and they've run it out in transition. They've gotten themselves to the free throw line. They've done what they needed to do to get this win tonight.
It's a 12-2 run over the last 4:20 for Western Kentucky. And Alabama State has not scored now in 2 minutes and 53 seconds. As Davion McKnight will go to the free throw line to try to add a second here and make it a 3-possession game for the Hilltoppers. 90 seconds on the clock here at Diddle Arena. McKnight up to 16 points. And a couple of big free throws here late.
7-point game, minute 26. If you're Mo Williams, you want to try to get something quick here.
Reyna from long range, got it.
Oh my goodness. How about that young kid? Woo.
Well, Mo Williams and his staff thought that Juan Reyna from Duncanville High School in San Antonio could come in and play right away as a freshman, as floor spacing scorer. And that's a big three here with 1:17 to play.
Man, I'm surprised he took it. But man, that was a hash mark three in front of his coach. If that doesn't go, you have to wonder how he's feeling at that point, right? But the youngster able to knock it down, and that was a big shot. This game's not over yet. Now all of a sudden, it's a 2-possession game, but it's 2 twos. That's different than a 2-possession game when it's 2 threes. So now you have a chance to take the ball to the basket. You don't necessarily have to jack threes. But really, if you're the Hornets, the most important thing is to get a stop here. And if you're Western Kentucky, you're trying to get yourself to the free throw line, getting something going to the basket, because that's where their strength is right now. They've not been great at the free throw line, just 10 for 20, but they have gotten there for 20 free throws.
Strawbridge, Range, Reyna, O'Neal, and Young on the floor for Alabama State. It's McKnight, Frampton, Anderson, Butts, and Hamilton for Western.
He's in jail. He got himself out.
Good defense from Strawbridge, 15 on the shot. And there's a foul out front by O'Neal. He's going to foul out with 56 seconds left.
Mo Williams didn't like that call, and it is a poorly timed foul because you played a whole possession, and they really didn't have anything offensively. And now instead of getting a stop, you bailed them out by sending them to the free throw line. At least this does stop the clock, but now you're giving away potentially free points, which you really don't have that margin of error this late in the game.
As O'Neal with 6 points, 4 boards in 29 minutes for Alabama State. Had 2 blocks and a steal as well. And they'll go back to Michael Barber, the sophomore, to come back on for these last 56 seconds. Josh Anderson, just 1 of 3 from the free throw line tonight. And a big one there.
Alabama State picked 8th out of 12 teams in the SWAC. If they play the way they played tonight on the road against a really good Conference USA team now, of course, Western still trying to figure some things out too. But Mo Williams, to me, did a great job tonight, giving his team a chance to win the basketball game.
A really tough stretch of 7 games in 13 days for the Hornets, and they'll be surely happy with this performance to start tonight as they get another quick bucket.
And that's what they needed to do. You push it quickly, get the basket, call a timeout, stop the clock, and now you're going to set up your press attack. And it's not like Western, they've been very sound with the ball late game, but it's not like they haven't turned it over. 16 turnovers in the game. But they've done a great job when you think about it, because they had 12 of those turnovers in the early part of the game. So certainly here in the second half, they've done a much better job taking care of the ball. Give Davion McKnight a lot of credit, because he's had the ball and he's gotten himself to the rim, but he hasn't over-penetrated. He's gotten people shots and he's gotten himself shots. And that's how he's going to have to play throughout the course of the year in his second year of college basketball.
He's been on the floor the entire night. McKnight, 16 points, 6 of 12 from the field. 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. He did have those early 5 turnovers. But, Tim, I think those were all in the first, 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty early in the ball game. And, again, you talked about Zion Harmon not being eligible yet. Or, he's out for a personal reason, but he's not in uniform. he's a point guard. So he's a guy that can really kind of get things going for them and give Davion McKnight a chance to sit down.
And Western Kentucky a little shorthanded tonight, but they have come back from a 14-point deficit.
Whoa.
Almost turned it over, but instead Hamilton flushes home. 21 for Hamilton. And the crowd can tell now that this game, as Reyna is going to be given credit for a three.
Well, now Kevin Mathis, the head official, wants to take a look. To me, I felt like Reyna stepped inside that black line, which is the three-point line that we're using now, not that lighter line that's inside of it. So they have to take a look. But Reyna, quite honestly, was fouled on that play, and they didn't call it. So Western with a real break there.
Tim, I got to say, for an Alabama State team that, again, they only played conference games. They were 4-14.
Yeah.
They lost 5 of those games by 7 points or less. So this is another experience where you're in a tight game late. You got to think this will help them in conference play.
It will. And you know, they'll have to try to figure out how to win some of those close games, though. But I like the pieces that they brought in. We look at the freshman Reyna, who's showing he can shoot. Range knocked down some shots, number 40. And, of course, Trace Young really carried the load offensively. They've got some pieces. We talked about how they were going to play. We knew they would get out in the passing lane, try to get in transition. They've done a great job of doing that. They need to take care of the basketball a little bit better, though. Let's be honest, 23 turnovers is way too many turnovers for winning basketball.
Put them in trouble here in this second half. And I think you're right, Tim, that he stepped on the line.
Yep. So it's going to be Western's ball up 4 with the basketball. So they're in great shape. They just got to take care of it now.
Alabama State 11 fouls now, so anytime they hit Western Kentucky, they'll get 2 free throws.
You know the pressure's coming. Release valve right there, easy.
Hamilton's the guy they want at the line. And Anderson is the one who picks up the foul. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2. 3 for 5 from the stripe tonight.
So they gotten themselves to the free throw line, and here in the second half, they finally knocked them down. .6 to go in this one. And Josh Anderson with 11 points and 6 rebounds, misses the first. Crowd's a little antsy as the clock sticks at 26 seconds. And the second one is up and good. Jackson starts the clock, trying to find Reyna. And he draws the foul with 21.7 to go. And it'll be 1-1 here for Alabama State. 9 team fouls now on Western. And Juan Reyna, who averaged 20.5 points per game in high school, to the line, hits the first. Western Kentucky will be back home on the 24th against Alabama A&M. A rival of this Alabama State squad. And there's a foul near the foul line. And it was on Reyna. So Luke Frampton will head to the free throw line for the first time tonight. 21.7 on the clock for Frampton to shoot 2. He's
had a tough night shooting it. 2 of 11 from the field, 0 of 7 from three-point range, uncharacteristic of the fantastic shooter for the Tops, as the second one doesn't fall. But the first one gave them that 4-point cushion. Reyna from way outside. And who else but Davion McKnight coming up with the rebound. And a hard foul that has the crowd upset, as Jarius Hamilton coming over to try to help up his teammate. Stansbury is in there as well. And McKnight took a little bit of a hit into the coaching staff. And the crowd is frustrated with that. McKnight is still down in front of the Alabama State bench. Here's another look at it. It was a hard foul. And I think McKnight caught the edge of the advertisement board. He does appear to be okay. And with 9.1 seconds left in this one, the referees are trying to get control of the situation. It has been a very intense evening here at Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky leading by 14 points in the first half, 13 at some point in the second half as well. Crowd interacting here with Alabama State in the corner as the referees look over the replay to see if there are any extracurricular activities that they don't like. 9.1 seconds on the clock. Western had to drum up a significant defensive effort in the second half to get back into this thing and take the lead. Made 4 threes in the second half, but just 4 turnovers after the break, 12 in the first half. 38 points in the paint, 25 points off turnovers. It has Western back in the position they're in a very tense season opener here in Bowling Green. Jarius Hamilton will get a technical foul. And DJ Jackson is going to get a flagrant. So the referees now have to explain everything out to the coaching staffs here, see if they can get this game back on the rails for the final 9 seconds. And that was Jackson's second foul of the night. And it was a flagrant. So the technical free throws will be shot here by Juan Reyna. His team down 4, 9 seconds to play. And he makes both of them. It's a 2-point game with 9 seconds to play. Reyna has 16 points. And McKnight is going to go to the line to shoot 2. And I believe Western will get the ball out of this. Davion McKnight has put in a serious performance here tonight as he misses the first. 16 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. But this is a big one to put his team back up 3. He got the second. And a timeout on the floor. Western Kentucky will take a 30-second timeout here. 77-74, 9.1 seconds to play in this one. There has been no shortage of drama tonight at Diddle. As Western Kentucky trying to start their season off with a victory before heading to Asheville. But Alabama State giving them everything they've got tonight. Western Kentucky will inbounds just in front of the Alabama State bench here, right near where McKnight was fouled. It'll be Frampton on the inbounds. He finds McKnight again, has the ball knocked away, but a foul called a second later with 6.2 to go. Davion McKnight has been immense for the Hilltoppers tonight and has a chance to make this a 2-possession game with 6.2. And that's the big one. 5 of 8 from the line tonight for the sophomore from Shelbyville, Kentucky. And he got the shooter's touch on the second, a 5-point game. As the clock runs down, Jackson off the glass, that's how it ends. What a game to start the season. Western Kentucky comes back to defeat Alabama State on its home floor, 79-74. And they start the season off with a victory. We will have Tim Scarborough meeting with Rick Stansbury here to get a breakdown of this one as Western Kentucky moves to 1-0. And Alabama State drops its season opener as well. Western Kentucky in action again on Friday against Minnesota. 5:30 p.m. local time here in Bowling Green. And Alabama State will play at Vanderbilt tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Local time in Nashville. As the Tops survive a scare at home, let's go to Tim Scarborough and Rick Stansbury on the court.
All right, we're here with Coach Rick Stansbury. First game of the year, you guys were a little sloppy with the basketball, but you turned it around. What turned it around for you in the second half?
Well, first off, give Alabama State a lot of credit. They came out, they were the aggressor. They're the ones that got into us. We hadn't played against people that tough, overplaying everything. We didn't react very well. Got down early, but give our guys some credit. We found a way to make some plays. Davion McKnight was a man just making some toughness plays. We didn't execute very well in the half court, so, hey, but this time of year, find ways to win.
And you did find a way to win. I mean, you were down by double digits in the first half. You had a ton of turnovers, but not many turnovers in the second half. You credit Davion McKnight, but it was really your defense that got you in the game as well, right?
Well, Josh made some things happen. I thought Jamarion gave us some great energy. We're down a couple guards. We don't have a lot of guys that beat people off the bounce consistently right now. And that kind of hurt us. Davion McKnight was the one guy that could do it. He'd give it up. They wouldn't let him have it back. So then that made it tough on us to run some offense.
Now you have a tough road coming up. Hopefully you'll get a couple of guys back. Well, how do you feel about the next few games, especially going to Asheville this weekend?
Tim, there's no easy ones. Got Minnesota Friday night, win or lose, South Carolina, Princeton. Get back home, go to Memphis.
Thanks for making it easy on yourself, huh?
Well, these kind of games right here, hey, you're always glad you can win them in a tight game. That'll make us better. There's some good things we can take from it.
All right. That was Coach Rick Stansbury. Thanks for coming in with us.
Gotcha. Good.
Thanks a lot.
21 points from Jarius Hamilton, 19 from Davion Knight, as Western Kentucky defeats Alabama State 79-74 to start the season 1-0. Alabama State 0-1. What a night it was, full of dunks, big-time highlights. Josh Anderson bringing the house down with some thunder. Trace Young, 23 points for Alabama State. A little fracas at the end of all of it. And that's exactly why we love college basketball. The entertainment never stops, and we are ready to roll for another season in Conference USA as Western Kentucky emerges with the 5-point win over Alabama State at Diddle Arena.